Right, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. That is a trailer of Cowley's just loaded up. Bank holiday Monday and early morning start. Get them off to the abattoir. Decision made. Any barons, anything that's lost lambs, they go in, hand the clear out. Now we're up in numbers. I'd rather be stricter with our breeding procedures, and going forward it will be better for the flock. So it's going to be a bitty one. I hope you enjoy it, guys. If you do, don't forget to like, subscribe. Let's get on with it. So we move on. We have come down to have a look at the triplet field, because as you remember the last video, this is where we finished it off on a cracking brand new set of lambs, which are these two here behind me. I thought those were the last lambs, and we got the single there right behind them. That lamb too, just the day before, as I said. But I thought lambing was over. As I go over here, I do apologise about the cold. Those two lambs have appeared too. So the very last ewe with a black bum has lambed herself. So we've got more bonus lambs. So we've had 3 ewes lamb outside, which is ideal. Unassisted. I have been away at the weekend, so people have been watching them. They didn't notice a fresh set of twins, but it is what it is. Everything was alive, so it wasn't a problem. But yeah, that's great news. That means every single ewe in this field, apart from the one with a bad bag, has got lambs, and they're all thriving. They have hit this field quite hard. Little Border Leicester, that's doing well. Other Border Leicesters, they're all doing really well. We're happy with how everything is doing in here. Has your mum been a bit horrible to you, mate? We skip forwards again because yesterday I spent my day looking after / helping someone else on the farm as they're away. Back to sheeping around today. Well, I say sheep around, we're going topping, go around a couple of paddocks so I can go electric fencing. We'll hopefully get on with a bit of tidying up around the farm too. We have been, obviously you've seen I've been spraying, so it's just trying to get all these little jobs done before it gets busy again in a few weeks' time. What we're doing here, we're just going around the border of the field just so I can get a bit further out with the electric fence. This is the rough bit of grazing I improved over the last couple of years, so that this was awful 2 years ago, literally all brambles like this. But a couple of years of grazing and we're getting there with it. An extra 3-4 eggs of grazing, which is going to be really handy, is we're going to put the triplets onto here. Just a nice bit of grass, giving them priority this year. Just trying to make sure, because they've got the lambs on them and any ewes that we have bought into that group, that we keep really good grass ahead of them. Normally we put the tubs on here, but what I'm thinking is we'll put them on and then give it a rest, and then the tubs will probably come on here later in the year. Now we have the lovely job. We have some sandwich bags, and that can only mean one thing. We are doing some fecal egg counts. I just want to have a look at these. It's been dry for quite a while, and there's just a couple of lambs that I think they're not quite in the condition they were a week, 10 days ago. I don't know, it's weather. I'm hoping it might be a worm count. Well, I'm not hoping it might be a worm count, but I want to know what the answer is basically. So we're just going to do this, head over to the vets, drop it off, and we'll have an answer this afternoon. It's very dry. We haven't had water for a long time. Can't see it being worms 100%, but I want to rule it out. This does not sound glorious at all, but what I'm doing is walking around, looking at the lambs, because a lot of them are laid down. It's first thing in the morning. The first thing they do when they get up is have a poo. I go over, pick a sample up. I'm trying to get about 20 samples of feces. We then take that off. The lab tests it, and it looks what worms, or eggs I should say, are in that feces and if the sheep need worming, rather than me just worming the sheep and guessing, as we really need to work on anthelmintic resistance in this country, which means wormer resistance. If you're worming sheep that don't need worming, first of all you're wasting money, but second of all you're building resistance to the worms, that are building resistance against the wormers, because you don't need to use them. bag one done. So now I'm gonna do the ewes as well. I wouldn't always do the ewes, but with all these scares about Haemonchus and stuff like that, you never know. We're taking egg counts anyway, so I'll do one for the ewes as well, and then I will go drop them off at the vet. Right, we need to sort these ewe lambs out. Yes, it is, yeah.
It's Caitlin calling from Glenthorne, you're right.
Yeah, good, thank you.
I've got these results for your ewes and lambs. So your lambs very low on the worms.
Okay.
You have quite a significant Cocci burden.
Right.
Have you seen any clinical signs of Cocci?
The reason I did the count was I just thought there was a bit of shine gone out of the fleece, if you know what I mean.
I would definitely treat them. So it's at 18,000, probably twice the threshold for when I would want to start treating. You do have species of Cocci that are pathogenic, so that cause harm, and species that don't. We can send it away to find out, which can be quite useful information. Then your ewes do have quite a significant worm burden, to be fair.
Yeah.
So we're looking at about 2,200 in them. I would worm your ewes. If they're still with the lambs, obviously your lambs are going to act as a refugia for your non-resistant worms.
What species and what worm are for the ewes?
So it's Strongyles. So within Strongyles, I can't tell you, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fine. Right, we are just onto the last few electric fence posts. As you've heard, we spoke to the vet, chat to a few people about the situation. So I've decided, as you heard on that, the lambs have a very, very high Cocci count of, I think it was 16 or 18,000, which is a lot higher than anything we've ever got. It could mean one or two things. It could be a very bad thing, it could not be a very bad thing. So I've had a chat with a sheep consultant that I met through the NSA, Nerish Wright, that's a parasite expert. So there's two types of Cocci, and I don't want to get this wrong. There's a bad type and there's a good type. We can do another test furthermore on those samples to see how much of each it is, because if it's 5% of the bad type, it's not really a high count, because that's 900, like 800-900. But if it's a lot of the bad type, then it is serious. So what we're going to do, we're going to go in and we're going to worm those lambs. And on top of that, the ewes had a very, very high Strongyles count. And as a lot of sheep people know at the moment, Haemonchus is a very, very big thing in the sheep sector. It's like basically a blood-sucking worm, and you can tell because ewes get like bottle jaw, all the redness goes out, all the red pigmentation goes out of their eyes and in their gums and stuff like that. And they basically just suck the blood from the ewe and they die. So Strongyles in general, you can just worm them, and we've never had, well, I'm not going to say never, we've not had a high count of worms in the ewes for like 6 years. They haven't been wormed for 6 years. So speaking to Nerish, she would like us to do an extra test on the ewes to see if it's normal Strongyles or if it is Haemonchus, because Haemonchus can show as a Strongyles count. The plan with them, they're coming in with the lambs, and I'm going to do anything that I think has lost weight or doesn't look well. It's going to be wormed alongside the lambs, and then we're going to go from there, because we'll get the second results for this in about a week's time. And I don't really want to risk the lambs at all for another week, because that egg count could soar dramatically in another week, so we want to get them done. And the ewes, likewise, Haemonchus can explode a bit like Cocci, so going to be safe and do that as a plan. Like I said many times on the channel, not everything is perfect in the sheep world, and when I was doing those egg counts this morning, the main reason I was doing them because I thought a few lambs had lost a little bit of weight and nothing dramatic. They might just have a high weight, they might just have a high egg count, and I did the ewes for the sake of doing the ewes because I've heard about Haemonchus. Well, I am glad I did those egg counts. Just imagine if I hadn't and just left them and just waited for them to go squitty, because things could dramatically have gone wrong. So very, very glad I've done all that. I'm going to finish this electric fence. As you've seen earlier, we moved all the ewe lambs. They're on this very rough bit of grazing. I keep saying ewe lambs. Ewe hogs, they'll be shearlings in a few weeks once they're shorn. They don't need anything special grazing wise. We also got the 50 still up the road. But yeah, that's where that leaves us this week. There is always something. So we skip forward to the next day, and I'm just getting the tups in. We've got a bit of scald creeping in, which I think because all the problems with not enough rain, a lot of the grass has started to go to head, and because it's all long and stalky grass, it's getting in between the toes and making them sore. So we're just going to run them through a foot bath a couple of times just to sort that out. That is them through the foot bath. So it's a really quick and easy method of trying to sort out foot problems. It is not by any means the best way of doing it, but it's a very quick and effective way of covering the whole flock if you feel like there's a problem with scald or something like that. So what scald is, it's like athlete's foot, so you get a bit sore between the feet. I'll put a photo on screen now. And the chemicals in that foot bath basically kill the infection, which means it heals up and dries up and they're all okay and not lame anymore. So we'll leave them in there because we're going to get the other group in, because it's really important that they stand and dry. If they just walk down the track and it all rubs off, it's kind of pointless. Quick and easily done, but I've made one mistake. I need to just get the ear tag numbers off the tups, because when I go back I'm going to send off the 5 because they need to go for a ram inspection, which basically means all the odds and sods just get checked over to make sure that they're a good breeding ram. But I just need their ear tags so I can send them off. Come here, come here. Go on, go on. Hop, 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 hop. So the two products we're using today, we're using a leather cure, which is just a yellow wormer. That is for the ewes. So yeah, that is bog standard wormer. But the one that I've never used before is dicoxan, because we've never really had a problem with Cocci. So I don't know if I said it wrong earlier, but Cocci is a parasite. It is not a worm, and we're using dicoxan today to prevent this. And how Cocci works, it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little parasite which works by shedding off an adult ewe basically, or another animal that's had it, and those cysts are then eaten by a lamb, usually like 6 to 12 weeks old, when they're at the highest risk, because when they get a bit older they build up a bit of natural immunity. Then those cysts affect the lamb, and mostly it affects their live weight gains. It doesn't necessarily kill them, it's a low risk for killing them, but it can really affect the lamb, and it won't make the most of the feed that it's eating. So yeah, that is what Cocci is. Yeah, but that is what we're using today, and this should hopefully reduce the numbers dramatically, if not get rid of it all. I'm not being too hopeful to get rid of it all, but reduce the numbers until the lambs are over that 12-week risk period will help a lot. So that is that one, and that is what we're using today. That is £750 for 5 litres. Yes, that is heartbreaking. I don't know how well you can see, but this is the reason why we're thinking it's Haemonchus. There's a handful of ewes, literally 2 next to each other, that have got a bit of bottle jaw, and if you don't know what that means, it looks like there's like retained fluid under the chin. What we're doing is another one there as well. It's just, I'm trying to pick them out, or if I feel the backs and I think they're lean, they're getting a dose of what Robin's giving them. All the lambs are getting done for Cocci. We're not leaving any of them, but we're trying to just specifically choose the ewes that we want to have a dose of what Robin's giving them, basically. Like this one's poor. Anything that I think the condition's not quite perfect, Robin's doing it too. She's feeling their backs as we go. But yeah, I feel like they've lost a bit of nick, and it could be down to that. So just caught this ewe up, and it's one that I thought had bottle jaw. Can you see there? I've got some close-up shots, but you'll see her eyes, like they're really, you'll notice her eyes, they're really pale as well as the gums, and that is a big sign of Haemonchus. So if I let her go now, and she just, yeah, she doesn't look well in herself. We've definitely got a handful of them now, so yeah, I think we're doing the right thing. I've just been on the phone to sheep consultant that we started using, Neris, right? And I've noticed going round, the lambs, this is now back to Cocci, the ones that are younger, like that lamb there, look like they've been hit harder. And obviously Cocci affects younger lambs more, so the stronger ones, like that crossbred behind me there, that's going to be 3 weeks older than that, and they're towards 12 weeks old, it's not affecting them as much. She said it will be in them, it just won't be affecting them as much. And another little one here, and coincidentally that's number 230, that one over there is 227, and they're the youngest lambs that'll be out here, whereas like here, I think that's number 19, that's a flashy twin, whereas 207, still a bit strong enough lamb, and that's 205. Can you see, my eye can see it, they've been hit a bit and they've been knocked, whereas the smaller numbers, like these ones, they just look like they've held condition a bit better, where they've got a bit poorer. There's no one there that's a bit poorer. It's just something I noticed when I was going around them the other day. So I took a feast of leg count, and luckily we've caught them in the nick of time. I find it quite interesting because we've never had a problem with Haemonchus. I'm not saying it is, but what I've been doing with that too, and I'll show you in a second, just checking the eyelids, that's the big takeaway. Apparently it's the bottom eyelid. If they're pale, that's a giveaway. See, this is another ewe here, that's got bottle jaw. That one, so I'll flip her over in a sec just for a check. But yeah, I think, thankfully, we've caught it before it gets too late. Another one. You see its chin? You see its chin there? How it bobbles along? So this is another ewe here that's lost a lot of condition. The eyes aren't bad, but they're just a bit pale. I don't know how well you can see. This now is a nice, fit, strong ewe. You can see that's a bit of a deeper pink rather than going white. You can see there's a bit more blood in there. I know it's not a dramatic difference, but it's a big enough difference to get you thinking there might be an underlying problem. And just like that, that is all of the sheep done, both groups. I apologise, I was very low on battery and I couldn't film too much more, but you got the gist of it. We got them in, gave them a Cocci drench, gave them a wormer. They've all run through the foot bath as well, so we'll come back in a week's time.
I'll explain exactly how they're getting on and keep you updated. Fingers crossed that solves the problem. And we'll also have the results from those tests as well next week. So we'll see how we get on. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.